We welcome now Robert Sherman to talk more about the war in Ukraine. Robert, with these new sanctions now coming, what does this mean for the war and where we go from here?
Yeah, obviously, the purpose of these sanctions is to try and change the trajectory of the war. And what we have really seen take hold over the last 2 years, Kelly, is this effective war of attrition in which the battle lines are drawn. You have both Russian and Ukrainian militaries that have become entrenched. Every inch feels monumental and every gain proves to be significant. This week, we saw the Russian military taking a Ukrainian city of Advitka, which is just east of the Dnipro River, north of the city of Mariupol. This is, again, every piece of ground that is taken here, it does prove in some capacity to make a bit of a difference here. In the 2 years that this war has been ongoing, you have seen significant casualties. A recently declassified U.S. intelligence report puts Russia's casualties at north of 300,000. Since the invasion took place, you've had $75 billion worth of American money and aid going towards the Ukrainians. In the end, you've had a little over half of the land that was taken by Russia returned to the Ukrainians. They've been able to resume control in a lot of those areas. But some places, that's not the case as well. And then you listen back to some of these stories that we've heard. We go back to when we were in Ukraine. One woman who we met, this woman here you see on your screen here, Olana, she came from the city of Kherson. At the time, that city was annexed and taken control by the Russian military. It has since been liberated by the Ukrainians. But something that still resonates with so many people in Ukraine is the disbelief that Russia is now their enemy. Listen to this.
I have my sister living in Rostov. This is a Russian city. This is my sister. And I couldn't believe that she would be my enemy. And so this is just a horrible dream for us. It's not people from the other world. It's people, they are similar to us, yet we are similar to them. There we have, we speak the same language. It's just, I can't put it in my head, you see.
You especially feel that sentiment in parts of southern Ukraine, in which so many Ukrainians grew up with Russians and shared so many relationships with them. But something else that is so palpable here at Kelly's is that we just remember those first couple of days in which you would see scenes like this. All of these people trying to get out of the country, millions upon millions. We had over 3 million people presently who are displaced within Ukraine, nearly 6 million displaced outside of the country. The sentiment that we gathered in those first few days is that so many people believed if they didn't leave Ukraine, their life was in jeopardy. And you just saw these mad dashes to try and find safety in Poland, in Moldova, in other Eastern European countries as well. You still feel that sentiment today. Kelly?
And Robert, you were on the ground for NewsNation immediately after Russia invaded. What strikes you the most in these past 2 years?
The big thing is just how much damage has been caused to the people who called those places home. Millions still have not been able to return to their hometowns, and many more won't be coming back anytime soon. You see some of these cities in eastern Ukraine, such as Kharkiv, have just been reduced to rubble in large capacities. There are massive displacements of people, massive destruction, and really there's just no end in sight here, Kelly. You look at all of the loss of life that has taken place within these last 2 years, hundreds of thousands of people on the Russian side, thousands more on the Ukrainian side. And you just look at the way that this war has really become this war of attrition, as we said. Just no indication it's going to end anytime soon. The big question is how many more lives are lost before all is said and done. Yeah. Kelly?
A tragedy on all sides. All right, Robert Sherman, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.